Chris Jones practiced yesterday. He was limited as he works his way back into game shape. Travis Kelce, who missed week 1 with that knee injury, bone bruise, he was limited as well. Things seem to be trending toward Kelce playing. That was one of the points made last Thursday when they decided not to play him on Thursday night, that they were optimistic he would play week 2 at Jacksonville. The one lingering concern I have comes from the in-game report from Melissa Stark that they put Kelce in the pool on Thursday, and he had no power in that knee when running in a pool. I don't know how that power comes back in a week and a half, but he was able to practice on a limited basis, and we'll see what he can do. You see he's got the compression sleeve on that right knee, and they need him if they're going to beat the Jaguars. One thing they need if they're going to beat the Jaguars, Chris, is good pass protection, and they were able to get away with enhanced pass protection last Thursday night because Jawaan Taylor, former Jaguar, was doing 3 things he shouldn't have been doing. 1, he was lined up in the backfield. 2, he had the Jimmy legs before every snap, at least in pass protection. And 3, he was leaving early on a regular basis. Something the Jaguars benefited from last year when he was playing for them. Here's Doug Pederson, coach of the Jaguars, when asked yesterday whether he would talk to the officials before the game about Jawaan Taylor's habit of leaving before the ball is off the ground.
I'm sure they've been notified, after that first game on Thursday night. But, again, good player. We know who he is. He did the same thing here. He has great anticipation, with the snap count. Optimistic our crowd will be, loud. And if they use the silent count, he does a great job of getting off the ball there, too, as well. And, if they don't call it, they don't call it. It's only so much you can say.
Look, Chris, here's my take on it, because Peter King and I talked about this at length last Friday in the aftermath of that game.
Yeah.
Peter believes that the league office officiating department would have sent out a memo to all officials telling them to be on the lookout for these kind of maneuvers. I don't think they will, because I think they like it. This was the point you made last year. This equalizes the current disparity between the quality of defensive linemen and the quality of offensive linemen.
100%.
You got to keep the quarterbacks in one piece.
Yep.
You got to keep the quarterbacks from getting blown up. So we're going to look the other way on Lane Johnson.
100.
Watch tonight, folks, what Lane Johnson does.
He does it all the time, too. Exactly right.
They're not going. I don't think they're going to send out a memo on this. They want this because they want to keep Aiden Hutchinson off of Patrick Mahomes.
I agree, Mike. It is. And listen, this isn't just a theory of mine either. This is like people I talk to in the NFL. There is not enough good O linemen to go around with all the good D linemen, right? We talk about it all the time. The Eagles have 2 starting defensive linemen, 2 starting defensive line units. The Vikings barely got a starting one, right? I mean, that just explains it. There's so many right now. And I will say, too, Mike, not that I watched back every game, right? It's Thursday, but you know me, and I'm Ron Jaworski, and I watch the film. And that's what I do. I thought I saw more non-holding calls by offensive line in week 1 than I've ever seen in my life not called. Ever. Every game I watched, I went, damn, they didn't call that holding? Wait, let me rewind that. Is there a flag? No, damn, they didn't call it. And I think it's all because of that. It's all because of the offense, the numbers, the protection of the quarterback, all of that. And they're going to let some of these things slide. I mean, come on, that's egregious. What we saw last Thursday night, forget the freaking memo. Like, kiss my ass with the memo, okay? 345 should have been on the microphone with the refs like they are when every big call in the game is going, hey, the right tackle for Kansas City is cheating. He's cheating. This is not football. That's an illegal formation. He's actually farther back than the slot receiver who's supposed to be off the ball. I mean, there's snaps in the game where the slot receiver is in front of Jawaan Taylor, right? And that's where it doesn't make sense. Look at the slot receiver up top. 83. Is that is that Noah Gray? Right. I mean, he was in front of Jawaan Taylor. That's wrong. I mean, that's where the NFL drives me crazy a little bit. It's, some rules are followed to such an extent, and other ones they just go, doesn't really count as much. We're not going to worry about that. And that's wrong. I don't like it.
Hey, Chris, if the question is how will the NFL react to what we saw from Jawaan Taylor on Thursday night, the answer is what happened on Monday night. They don't want
You're right.
another Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Even and look, what happened to Aaron Rodgers? It wasn't non-contact. He got immediately engulfed. If they had just let the left tackle go early, maybe he would have made that block and Aaron Rodgers wouldn't have gotten hit and Aaron Rodgers wouldn't have had his Achilles torn. And this all goes back to last year when the nothing the passer thing reached full boil and they sent Troy Vincent, the executive director of football operations, to the set of the ESPN pregame show. And when he was pressed on the proliferation of roughing the passer calls, he said, football games are the highest rated shows on TV. We need the starting quarterbacks healthy in order to make that happen. And if the quarterbacks start getting hurt, people aren't going to watch. So there should be a firewall between football and business, and there isn't. There isn't. Just like there isn't a firewall at the NFL between business and their media function, as Jim Trotter has alleged in his lawsuit. And we've always known that. I mean, no reporter working for the NFL is going to report something that makes the NFL look bad, or they're not going to be working for the NFL for very long. Same thing with the rules of the game, the way the rules are enforced, the way the rules are interpreted. That should be separate and apart from the people who count the money.
Exactly
saying,
right. And it's
man,
not.
You know what?
Right.
We make more money if the quarterbacks are healthy. So let's apply these rules in a wink, wink, nod, nod way that's aimed at keeping the quarterbacks healthy. Let's not throw flags for offensive holding the way that we should. Let's look the other way when Jawaan Taylor is lined up like a fullback, right? Let's not blow the whistle when the tackles leave a half second early. And anybody that's watched football, I noticed it within the past couple of years, where you're watching a game and there's a rhythm to it pre-snap. And when you watch football you just know it. 50 years I've been watching it. Those linemen are still, and when the ball's snapped, they all move in unison. When one of them is leaving a half second early, it's
It's called a false start. It's called a false start. It's in the rule book. It says false start.
Great timing. It's great timing.
No.
He timed the snap perfectly. No, he didn't. You can't be timing it perfectly and everybody else behind on a regular basis. That doesn't happen. Watch tonight. Lane Johnson, 65 of the Eagles, right tackle. Watch him. I guarantee you it's going to happen again. I'm putting the over-under on it tonight at 4.5. And I'll take the over of Lane Johnson leaving just that split second where it disrupts that everything's fine. And then, that one guy moved just a little bit before the rest of them did. It's going to happen at least 5 times.
It's
tonight.
a total overcorrection. Listen. I know we want the quarterbacks. I do too. The rules that Aaron Rodgers, they went with an empty personnel and they decided to run slant, and the Buffalo Bills were like, wait, we've seen this play 100 times since the start of OTA, so they were all over it. And the linemen are thinking, wait, he's going to throw the ball in like 1.5 seconds, so I'm going to cut the guy or do whatever, and that's why he got sacked. But like where the rest of it is, I just don't understand the overcorrection by the NFL. That's what I don't. Have there been that many quarterback injuries over the last 20 years that the league has been ruined by it? I mean, no, there's not. That's the answer. It's no, it's not. I mean, it's actually very limited. And then we went double down and we went, wait, they're not getting hurt. We've protected them. But now let's put styrofoam, bubble wrap, and if you touch them with a pinky nail, that's a penalty. And that's to me where the game has gone overboard. It's gone overboard, and that's the disconnect you're talking about, where we got people making some of these decisions and rules that shouldn't be in that department of decision and rules. They should be doing something else that they're qualified for. And that's really what pisses me off, as you could tell, by the NFL.
But it's exactly what they want because they've allowed the business interests to infiltrate the application and interpretation of the rules. And my criticism of Lane Johnson isn't...
No, I would do it too if I could get away with it.
Hey, Christian Darrisaw and Brian O'Neill, you should do it too.
Tonight.
I think there's a skill to it in doing it just right. Not too early, that it's blatant. And the thing that was so comical last week is it was happening so often and it was so blatant and it was to the point where it even came up in the broadcast. When it comes up in the broadcast, that tells you how bad it is. And we'll see if it gets any better, but I don't think it will because the goal is keep the quarterbacks healthy and keep the money flowing. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.